You want to be in your safe location. The worst of the cell will be moving over your community at 11:32. 11:35, Lewis Mills. 11:38 in Wallace, that could be Wallace or Wallace Township. And then a little bit later, 11:43, you have about 20 minutes to get into your safe location before this is in the worst of your area, East Nantmeal Township. And then also 11:46, Nantmeal Village. And now we're looking at 11:51 in South Coventry. So I'm looking at the latest from the National Weather Service. They've now canceled the tornado warning in Berks County, so that's good news. Let's go ahead and clean up the radar and get a fresh view of the warning now. So again, if you're tuning in from Berks County, you are no longer in the tornado warning. I'm going to go ahead and click the latest update that just came in from the National Weather Service, and I'll read this to you while we're on the air right now. Okay, so the first thing that they mentioned, how the tornado warning has been canceled for Berks County. The tornadic thunderstorm which prompted the warning has moved out of this particular warned area, therefore the warning has been canceled. However, the tornado warning remains in effect until 11:45 for north central Chester County. Now, what they're concerned about, again, we are talking about the potential of straight line wind damage. We basically have a squall line that's setting up here, and this is basically congealing into a line of thunderstorms. If we can look at the radar here, looping over the last 30 minutes, you can see the line that I'm referring to. That's pretty much setting up from Maryland on north and east toward Chester County, starting to come together in Montgomery County. This severe squall line is capable of producing both tornadoes and also extensive straight line wind damage. And the latest update had the worst of the cell over Glenmore, or 12 miles northwest of Westchester, moving northeast at 35 miles per hour. Your hazard is going to be that tornado threat and also quarter-size hail. Now, some of the locations that they mention in particular, Elverson, Glenmore, and also Pewtown. So if we go ahead and pause the radar, we'll once again look at the latest communities that are in the path of this storm that are capable of producing a tornado. Let me go ahead and put the warning back on here. And with this warning, again, we haven't had any confirmation of tornadoes, but as we've all seen with severe weather in our area, even straight line wind damage can do a lot of problems. So this is moving northeast at 35 miles per hour. And we're gonna take that.
And Brittany, this is a very fluid situation, obviously, just because we've started around, what, 11 a.m. with these warnings. Some of them, like you mentioned earlier, cancellations, others popping up in different parts. What should people, I mean, I know that you were saying, like, if you're tuning in, you need to be following, you know, get in a safe place. If you don't have a safe space to go to, particularly a basement, what should somebody do?
Yeah, absolutely. I know everybody doesn't have the opportunity to have a basement, but you can also get into interior rooms. So what you're trying to do is put yourself with many walls between you, and you're looking at wanting to be away from glass. You want to be away from windows. So if you do not have a basement, you can get into a hallway closet. You can get into a bathroom. I know this might sound silly, but you can grab your helmet to sit in your bathtub and stay there until the tornado threat is no longer there. I know you might have to remove yourself from your television right now. You can download the 6ABC app. We'll be streaming there as well. And what you want to do is just put yourself in the safest location, away from windows. Again, if you don't have a basement, you want to get into an interior room if you can and stay there until the tornado threat is no longer out there. So here you can see a few of those safety tips. If you have a second-story home, you want to be on the lowest level. So you want to be down to the first floor if you don't have that basement. If you do have a basement, that's the best place that you can be from. Most of the damage will likely occur from the top floor. That's not just the threat of tornadoes that could be going through, but also we're dealing with the potential of straight line wind damage, which can do just as much damage, 60 to even 70 mile per hour wind gusts. So here's a good explanation of where you can be. You can see the circle, the middle of this structure. You want to get into that interior hallway, even something like a pantry. You want to make sure that you're just getting low and covering your head. That's why I referenced that you can grab a helmet just in case anything serious were to happen. Now, thankfully, I can say there haven't been any reports coming through of anybody visually confirming a tornado. So we're going to continue to stay on the air until 11:45, or at least until the National Weather Service has said, hey, we're in the clear now.
Right, and that doesn't mean that we're in the clear just because we haven't had any reports of an actual twister or funnel being spotted.
Absolutely. I mean, today we've been talking about, we have the AccuWeather alert for a reason today, right? Now, we didn't anticipate there to be a high tornado threat. The tornado threat has been on the lower end of the spectrum for today, but we've always known that the threat for straight line wind damage was going to be elevated for a situation like today. So, you know, we're going to stay on the air with the tornado warning that's still out there, but also we want to make sure that people know that this is a serious situation. The kids are out for summer. People are trying to do things outside. Indoors is the safest place you can be.
And our area also hasn't been a stranger to these types of inclement weather, especially tornadoes. I mean, in the last couple of summers, we had a significant amount of twisters touching down.
Absolutely. I mean, going back to just April itself, we had a pretty decent severe weather outbreak here. And I want to bring your attention to our producer and meteorologist, Paul Trombello, who is navigating our graphics right now. And what he's showing us is the storm relative velocity. And the area that he's kind of breaking down for us, if you will, is where we are looking at least some rotation right now. This is in Chester County, where we're seeing the bright banding with our radar showing the rotation of the winds going toward and away from the radar. So we're looking at areas along Route 82 and also just to the east of Route 10. So this is in, I believe, Chester County that we're looking at. So the biggest community that I'm seeing in this area is Downingtown, so just west of Downingtown. And it looks like with that latest update, the rotation has now gone a bit farther north and east. So we've been talking about the trajectory of these storms, how they're moving northeasterly at about 35 miles per hour. And now we're seeing that right in the area of Wallace. So we're going to read some communities once again. The time right now is 11:31. You need to be in your safe location before the storm gets to your area. So 11:33 in Wallace, East Nantmeal at 11:40, the area of Nantmeal Village at 11:44, West Vincent at 11:48, 11:55 in Porter's Mill, and 11:59 in East Coventry. A lot of those places that I read off are some townships. So this is moving over some highly populated areas. You can see 76, 401. Also, as you continue to move your way through Chester County, right over 23, a very highly traveled road there, you need to know that this storm is headed your direction at this hour.
It's 11:32 right now, and if you're tuning in expecting to see the view, we have some serious weather. We're following this tornado warning in Chester County until 11:45, so we are going to stay on the air until that expires. Brittany, I was curious, we saw a couple other of those warnings drop. Is that a sign that the storms are weakening or just moving fast?
The storms are moving out of the area. So once the National Weather Service expires a warning like they did for Lancaster County, it means the tornado threat is no longer an issue. They might still hear some rumbles of thunder, but at this point, there is no imminent situation for a tornado there. As this continues to move its way northeast, they're moving at a pretty good speed at about 35 miles per hour. So we just put another tracker on here, and this tracker is for the, I believe, the severe thunderstorm warning, Paul. Okay, so we mentioned that the severe thunderstorm warning is also getting tags that a tornado is possible, but there is more of a concern for the straight line winds. You can see how the radar is almost in a way bowing. That's an indication of some really strong winds that are moving their way to the east. So reading off some towns here, 11:34 in Pike Creek, West Goshen, 11:37. Again, some of these are townships. Willistown at 11:46, Tredyffrin at 11:49, Lower Providence at 11:52, and Norristown at 11:59. So we're looking at not just Chester County here, but also into parts of, let's say, Montgomery County And then pressing its way south, I can see Pike Creek there in Newcastle County, Delaware. So this is a pretty extensive line.